Now, Anas Tanwir, who's joining us live, Supreme Court lawyer. Anas Tanwir, how do you view the Supreme Court's verdict and will it put an end, according to you, to the bulldozer justice debate?
I find this judgment to be historical, first of all. And second, I'm really hopeful that it will put a spanner into the wheels of the bulldozer that have been going against doing injustice against the minorities, against the oppressed. And this is indeed historical. I'm hopeful that it will be implemented. The problem comes that the implementation has to be from the state. And in this case, state is the one who has erred. There's a reason why Supreme Court had to reiterate on its position on rule of law and right to shelter. But Supreme Court has given enough guidelines and there are rules and regulations now in place. And I'm really hopeful that this will be one of those exceptional guidelines that will really be implemented.
Yes. Why do you think the government has resorted then to bulldozer justice in so many cases? Do you not think then that the government's argument of setting precedents with bulldozer justice has not worked?
Look, it started. Of course, it has not worked. The judgment is quite clear. The government opposed our petition. Matter of fact, I was representing one Ganesh Gupta who had a juice shop in Jahangirpuri that was demolished. And in that also, the state had filed its reply, and the notice that they have annexed as annexure was of some other shop of some other person. The state was obviously not complying with the law. The rule of law does not give state any power. Even in case of a leave alone an alleged criminal, even convicted criminal, you cannot demolish their house. You cannot give collective punishment. House is not just one person. If for example, A has committed a crime, you cannot go and demolish the house that will put A and his wife and his son and his father and his mother and his grandmother on the street. This is collective punishment. This is it completely abhorrent to the rule of law.
Right. Now, isn't bulldozer justice in itself a lesson to judiciary as well, in fast-tracking cases to avoid executive from taking coercive steps?
State cannot give such a signal to the judiciary. Every time a house was demolished, was brought down, it also brought it down with that the rule of law and the majesty of the court. Only and state the court, the judgment is quite clear. The court has reiterated the principles of separation of power. Only judiciary has power to punish. And if you are so much concerned about dispensation of justice, then provide better mechanism to judges, provide better infrastructure, get more judges, provide them good salary. Instead, you will go on demolishing the houses. How is that even fair? How is that even reasonable? Why are we even discussing this?
Right. Now, if cases like Nirbhaya have dragged on for 10 years in which there was a clear case of rape and murder, don't you believe then that the executive gets forced sometimes to resorting to quick steps, justice steps to keep people's faith alive in the system?
The judicial process is also run by the state. Then if you give, why are there so many pendencies? Most of the pendencies are against the state. A lot of litigation that has been filed is filed by the state. A lot of time adjournments are sought by the state. The delaying tactics is applied by the state. So state is responsible for the failure of a judicial system, if at all. And instead, they cannot go on punishing people and violating the rule of law. We stand on a very strong, on a very revered constitution. And that constitution puts people first, not the state. And state has to work under that rule of law. They take legitimacy from that. Every politician, every officer who takes the oath of office, they take oath on the constitution. They say that they will abide by the constitution and rule of law. So the state is violating its oath. The politicians, the leaders, the officers are violating their oath when they indulge into exercise like bulldozer injustice.
Yes. How do we restore faith then in the judicial system in order to avoid vigilant justice like, cases that we've seen in the recent past? My final question to you.
First of all, I will not accept the premise that the bulldozer injustice was because of the failure of the courts. If all was that, why did not the state say that in their counter affidavit? The state did not make this averment. The union was present. Mr. Tushar Mehta, the learned Solicitor General, was present. They did not make this averment. I will not accept this premise. Second, there have been conferences, there have been multitudes of conferences on this where the Prime Minister was also present. There have been money that has been, and fairly enough, disbursed for the better infrastructure of the courts. But that has to start from the district courts itself, from the courts below, not at the Supreme Court level. We need better judges, we need more judges, we need better infrastructure. Only yesterday, the Supreme Court pointed out that the lady judges in a certain state did not even have access to toilet. They were using the toilet meant for civil judges, men civil judges or senior officers. So then this is all on the state and the state's failure to provide a better infrastructure, and state should stop filing multiple appeals on trivial issues. So once a state does that, the judicial system will start functioning better. It is the state that has clogged the judicial system.
Yes. Okay, let's leave it at that. Anas Tanwir, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on this big story.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.